Through my involvement with Back on My Feet, an organization that supports men recovering from homelessness, through the encouragement and community that comes as part of a running team, I have witnessed that life change can happen if the correct support is in place.
It wasn't always this way. When we moved to Baltimore from suburban and rural backgrounds, the plight of the homeless population was troubling to us, but with our busiest schedules, it was easiest to disengage from the problem.
Over time, our hearts changed, and we began to take steps to reach out to the homeless community. This started by biking to Fells Point to offer food to people in the square. We wouldn't just drop off the food, but we would also take time to sit and listen to the people they were giving food to.
Before departing, we would always ask if there was any way we could pray for them. Over and over, the requests were to pray that they would be able to find a job and to find housing.
On a summer night in 2009, I was poking around on Craigslist, sometimes a dangerous activity, and I was looking at houses for sale, and I suddenly had an idea. What if we bought a really big house and rented the extra bedrooms to people who were recovering from homelessness and offered it at a low rent?
Through our Fells Point conversations, we learned that many homeless people have access to a small income, but it's not enough to get them off the streets. We decided that we had the opportunity to provide housing and be an answer to someone's prayer.
So we began our home search and found a large 5-bedroom house in Reservoir Hill. We're currently in the process of obtaining the permits and funding necessary to renovate the basement so we can add a 6-bedroom, a second kitchen, and a common area for our renters.
The kitchen will give our renters the opportunity to be more self-sufficient. The extra bedroom will allow us the capacity to rent out 3 bedrooms, each with its own bath. We'll have a combination of shared and private living areas.
We had planned on waiting till the basement was finished before we opened up our home, but in October, a friend of a friend was getting evicted, had limited financial resources and no place to stay, and he was ultimately headed towards the streets.
Even though it wasn't exactly according to our timetable, we looked at each other and were like, well, this is why we bought the house. So as a result, Todd has been staying with us since last October.
Ultimately, we dream of creating our own small community where we will support our renters through weekly meetings and weekly dinners, as well as extra support as needed. We envision it being a transition step where they'll stay with us for 6 months to a year as they build the financial resources needed to move to more permanent housing.
In order to build financial stability, someone needs employment. Enter phase 2, job creation. I have a love for all things food. Recently, I've been improving my cooking at home and reading lots of cookbooks, and I started writing a food blog. A couple years ago, we hosted 2 social entrepreneurs. When I expressed interest in wanting to start my own social business, but wasn't sure what to do, they asked, if you could do anything you wanted, what would it be? Without hesitation, I said, bake.
Thus, another part of our dream was born, and in July, Becky's going to quit her current job to pursue steps towards opening the bakery. We plan on starting by catering and selling food at farmers markets before eventually opening up a permanent bakery cafe.
The social mission of the bakery will be to provide job training for people recovering from homelessness. As with the housing option, we intend for the bakery to have relatively high turnover, so it will prepare our employees to move on to other positions in the food and hospitality industry.
Additionally, the bakery will have a mission to reach out to the rest of the homeless population by opening as a soup kitchen a couple times per week. And instead of being an impersonal assembly line, we want people to sit down and receive service from a team of volunteers.
So that's how the whole plan comes together. Through our house, we can give people a roof over their head. Through our future business, we can provide employment to empower those on the path to recovery. We have a house, we'll start a business. We can be part of the solution.
And in the future, we hope to inspire others to follow our philosophy of home sharing and job creation. As a collective body of citizens, we already have the resources we need to help those in need. It's just a matter of putting them together.
Here's where you come in. Do you have business experience? Help us start one. Do you have legal background? Then advise us. Right now, we have a really big idea with a huge learning curve. You can be part of the solution to help us end homelessness.
And tell others what we're doing. It might inspire them to open up their home and network with us on behalf of the homeless population. Also, if you have connections that can help further us along, help us out with issues with the cities and permitting, please help us out so we can work together to alleviate the problem of homelessness and to enrich lives in the process.